Hey there, guys. All right, today we are back with some more History Matters, and today we are watching the video why, or well, asking the question of why didn't the Virginias, why did the Virginias stay divorced? A short animated documentary. You know, sometimes once the breakup happens, it's just impossible to get back together. It's the way of life, and you must move on. I don't know the answer. Well, really, West Virginia split because of Civil War, but why they didn't go back together, I don't really know. So let's dive in.
160-ish years, Virginia has been going through a bit of a breakup. As you'll know,
I will say though,
160-ish
it looks more. They look better divorced. Like, look at that. Just one Virginia looking like that. Hideous.
years, Virginia has been going through a bit of a breakup.
Better.
As you'll know, West Virginia broke away from the state during the American Civil War, and yet, even when the war was over, the two never reunited. Which raises the question, why? Why didn't the Virginias get back together? So, to begin, when the Civil War broke out, many in Virginia did not wish to join the Confederacy as its leaders in Richmond had declared. As such, a couple of conventions were called in Wheeling, which first established a brand new Union recognized government for Virginia led by Francis Pierpont, and second called for the immediate secession of these western territories from Virginia and the creation of a new state. And that new state was to be known as Kanawha. It wasn't long before delegates chose the name West Virginia instead. Normally, breaking away from a state would be impossible since the state's government would need to agree to the separation. But since Pierpont was seen as the legitimate leader of all of Virginia, that wasn't a problem. The problem came with the necessary referendum on West
How secede should we be? Secede from the seceders? Secede with the seceders.
Virginia's new constitution and existence as a state. The issue was that many areas within the new state to be had supported secession and were home to many slave owners who were not too keen on joining the abolitionist union. When the vote was held, many areas
We give the United States $350 a week. Let's buy some. God damn it.
were occupied by Union troops, which in the eyes of many affected the outcome. The areas polled voted to approve the new constitution and to become a brand new state, mostly because those opposed boycotted the vote. And soon after this, these areas were transferred to West Virginia by Pierpont's government. This wasn't simply done for kicks, but because these areas had been listed under the Constitution as potential parts of the state. In 1863, these two counties were further added, giving West Virginia its modern-day borders. And in the same year, Lincoln and Congress agreed to West Virginia becoming a state, and it formally joined the USA. So, spoiler alert, the Union won the war, and after the Confederacy's defeat,
Damn right we did.
there were some that raised the question of what was to be done with Virginia and West Virginia. In 1866, the Virginian government, now back in Richmond, asked its West Virginian opposite if it wanted to be reincorporated back into Virginia proper, to which the leaders of West Virginia, shockingly, said no. So that's all sorted, right? Well, no. Whilst Virginia couldn't regain all of West Virginia, it hoped for the return of some territory, specifically these two counties. And there were two main arguments for this. The first was that Congress hadn't approved the county's transfer until 1866, which was after the Virginian government had returned to Richmond in 1865 and repealed most of Pierpont's government's legislation, which meant that Congress had approved the transfer of land from one state to another without the consent of both states. The second argument was that these counties were occupied by Union troops who, instead of allowing a vote, simply sent delegates to Wheeling to say yes, and thus it wasn't legitimate. This went to the Supreme Court in 1870, who, the next year, rejected Virginia's claim on the basis of, "You were rebelling, so shut up." The court ruling against Virginia
Oh, an attitude we should have kept for longer.
marked the final attempt to change the status of the two states. The USA would be left with two Virginias. I hope you enjoyed.
And that was why the Virginias did not get back together. Short animated documentary. There were sort of an answer, but also not really much of an answer. Like, it's just sort of a like they broke out and they're like, let's not get back together. Pretty much. That's how I'm viewing it. This was good. I love the additional context to the border changes and all of that. Then the stuff that happened post breakup and how Virginia was like, hey, we want some things back or whatever, right? I love that. I love History Matters videos. And I hope you guys enjoyed as well. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.